Hey everybody, this is Brendan with Business for Chummies. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the round, round up, and round down functions in Microsoft Excel. So we have a table set up here, and what we're going to be first looking at is how the round function works. So round is probably what you're more used to, where you're automatically rounding numbers either up or down based on the value. So using the round function, you have two inputs into the function. First, it's asking for the number that you're rounding to, and then the number of digits that you want to round to. So I have a table set up here. We have our numbers on the left, the number of digits that we want to round to, and then you can see the result here on the right. So in our column C is where we have our formula. In this first example at the top, we have the round function. It's referencing our cell value over here in A4, and it's rounding to 0 digits. And so what this is going to do is always round to the nearest whole number. So 6.5 is rounding up to the nearest whole number of 7. And then I have the same formula here below in row 5, where 6.4 is actually rounding down to the nearest whole number of 6, even though it's the same formula in both of these cells. Next, if you have the digits set to a positive value, it's going to be rounding the right side of the decimal. So it's rounding to the first decimal place in this example. So 6.526 is going to round to the nearest decimal, which is 6.5. And the same example here, the value is going to round from 6.443 to 6.4. In both of these instances, it's rounding down. If this were, let's say, 6.473, you would see that it would actually round up to 6.5, based on 6.5 being the closer value. Similar here, we have 6.526 now being rounded to 2 decimal places. So it's rounding, in this instance, up to 6.53 and so on. So you can use positive values to round further out of your decimals. And then you can use negative values to actually round the left side of your number. So in this example, when you round to the -1 digit, 16.526 is rounding up to the nearest 10, which would be 20. And 116 is rounding to the nearest 100 with the -2 digits, which would be rounding down to 100. All right, then we have two similar functions, the round up and round down function. Now these work exactly the same syntax for the formulas, but the main difference is that the round up function is always going to round up no matter what number it's closest to, and the round down function will always round down no matter what number it's closest to. So this is a way to force your values to always round up or down either way. So a quick example in the round up function, you can see here when rounding to the nearest 0 digit, it's going to round up to the nearest whole number. So 6.13, normally when using the round function, this would have rounded down to 6, but using the round up function, it's always going to go to the next whole number, which is 7. Similar here, now with the first decimal place, 6.13 is always going to round up to 6.2, even though it's closer to 6.1. And then you can do 2 and 3 decimal places. And then again with the negative numbers, so when you use the round up function and -1 digits in your formula, it's going to automatically round up to the nearest tenth. So 18,152 becomes 18,160. When you round up to the nearest 100, 18,152 becomes 18,200. And then when you round to the nearest thousandth, 18,152 becomes 19,000. And exactly the same with the round down function, except you're just going the other direction. So your whole numbers are always rounding down to the nearest whole number, your decimal places are always rounding down to the nearest decimal place, and your whole numbers on the left side of the decimal are always rounding down to the nearest tenth, the nearest 10, the nearest 100, or the nearest thousandth. So great little functions, especially useful in accounting when you need to round up or down for your financial worksheets. So I hope you learned something, had some fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.